What was the Louisiana Purchase? Well, it was the greatest land bargain in United States history. The U.S. bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, which is an estimated $400 million today. It included 828,000 square miles of land for less than 4 cents an acre, doubling the size of the U.S. It also gave a powerful impulse for westward expansion, with new frontiers stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains. The land became all or part of 15 different states, including Oklahoma. This purchase began to expose sectional weaknesses between the North and the South as the balance between free states and slave states shifted. The Louisiana Purchase also challenged the ideas of strict constructionism and supported the ideas of implied powers. After the treaty was signed in Paris, France, the United States bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million in 1803. The Louisiana Purchase changed history by exploring new frontiers like the expansion of the U.S., shifting political ideas, and empowering the nation.
Before the Louisiana Purchase, France owned the Louisiana Territory. The year was 1763, when the French and Indian War had concluded. As a thank you to Spain for helping France, Spain was gifted the Louisiana Territory. Why was this territory so important? It came with some helpful economical benefits. The land contained the Mississippi River, an essential trading port. Spain didn't care about the land and saw no benefit to keeping it. Spain allowed French administrators to continue ruling the Louisiana Territory. After the American Revolution, the United States believed that they owned the Mississippi River. Likewise, Spain believed that they owned the river after gaining the land from France. The United States tried to control trading, so Spain closed the river to all foreigners, including the U.S., until 1795, when Pinckney's Treaty was signed, which let the U.S. freely trade and use the Mississippi River.
In 1793, France started eyeing the Louisiana Territory again. The United States signed multiple treaties with England and began trading with them. This made the French angry, as England was one of France's biggest enemies. In response, France captured multiple U.S. ships. This started the Quasi-War, which was an undeclared naval war with France and the United States. In an attempt to stop the war, Adams, the new president, sent American envoys to convince France to stop attacking the U.S. The envoys were met with three masked men nicknamed X, Y, and Z. They demanded millions of dollars in bribes. Adams didn't know if they were truly French diplomats, so the ransoms were not paid. Shortly after, the spark of rebellion grew in France, which led to Napoleon's reign of conquering. Napoleon stopped the Quasi-War. The day after Napoleon took over, a secret treaty was signed that transferred the Louisiana Territory from Spain to France. During that same time, Jefferson was in his first term of presidency. During his presidency, Jefferson was very interested in expanding the United States. He sent two American envoys, Robert Livingston and James Monroe, to France. Their goal was to negotiate with the French and purchase New Orleans for around $10 million. Then, the French offered the entire Louisiana Territory for a very good deal. The surprised diplomats had a sudden choice. Would they act unconstitutionally and purchase land? Would they follow Jefferson's instructions and only buy New Orleans? Unsurprisingly, the two bought the territory. However, some deemed this purchase illegal or forbidden. These people believed in strict constructionism, and one of them was the very president who authorized the purchase.
Although Jefferson believed in the idea of strict constructionism, he was still in favor of the purchase. Strict constructionism was a theory that limited interpretation of the Constitution to a very literal sense. This theory contrasts with loose constructionism, which allowed broader interpretations for intent and legal language. Jefferson had some interesting thoughts on loose constructionism. He said, quote, "Our peculiar security is in possession of a written constitution, Let us not make it a blank paper by construction. In other words, if the Constitution is loosely interpreted, it'll have no meaning and be a blank paper. In the Constitution, there's no mention of purchasing land. This led to Jefferson, a strict constructionist, being called a hypocrite for authorizing the purchase in the end. Jefferson tried to justify the decision by saying, "It is the case of a guardian investing the money of his ward in purchasing an important adjacent territory, and saying to him when of age, 'I did this for your good.'" The Louisiana Purchase explored the idea of loose constructionism and implied powers.
The Louisiana Purchase was an incredibly impactful event in the early 1800s. It was also extremely expensive. While one of Jefferson's main goals was to reduce national debt, he ended up purchasing the land. The territory was too expensive for the United States. The U.S. debt was already around $80 million. They didn't have the money to fund the land, and paid most of the $15 million through Treasury bonds. While the national debt did impact the country, the Louisiana Purchase also gave them new frontiers in making money. With so many new, natural resources to discover, Jefferson sent a search party to explore the lands west of the Mississippi River. The Lewis and Clark expedition lasted over 2 years. They encountered harsh weather and unfamiliar terrain. They also met several Native American tribes, such as the Shoshone, the Blackfeet, and the Sioux, and many others who lived in the territory prior to the purchase.
No Native American tribes were considered or involved in the purchase. Part of the territory later became reservations for relocated indigenous people through the Indian Removal Acts. Most tribes helped Lewis and Clark, while a few acted violently. Although it was rough, the 8,000-mile journey was an enormous success. It provided detailed information on the geographical, economical, and cultural aspects of the previously uncharted land. The expedition allowed new territory for the lumber and fur trade. The purchase also provided new land for settlement and agriculture. Additionally, the territory's natural resources assisted in strengthening the United States economy. As well as becoming more powerful economically, the additional 15 states created from the territory made the U.S. more influential and respected. The U.S. and France gained a temporary alliance with each other. Jefferson's purchase of the Louisiana Territory also contributed to the idea of the government's implied powers. Overall, the Louisiana Purchase brought forth new frontier opportunities in many different ways, from the Lewis and Clark expedition to changing government ideas. This purchase had many valuable outcomes. It provided a powerful impulse for westward expansion, as well as providing new land frontiers to be explored. It led to the Lewis and Clark expedition, which helped us learn more about the previously uncharted territory. After the treaty was signed in Paris, France, the United States bought the Louisiana Territory for $50 million in 1803. The Louisiana Purchase changed history by exploring new frontiers like the expansion of the U.S., shifting political ideas, and empowering the nation.